Welcome back to another episode of the Michael Lab Show. Have my hair up today. Um, I am still, as you guys can obviously tell, I am looking out my window. You can only tell if you are watching this on video. Otherwise, what I just said made no sense. But we are attempting another position of the microphone. Microphone. Another position, another day, another dollar. I have it adjusted now. Instead of to my right, I have it straight on vertical. And this is an issue because I like this position. It's maybe my favorite position that I've had the microphone in for ever since we started this podcast. But now I'm having the issue because I'm already thinking about when I have my next guest on where I'm going to put the mic. And I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I could put someone right next to me, right here. Or I could sit over here. But then you run into the issue where you're going to have people looking at each other, conversating. And since I have one camera, we're not going to be able to make eye contact with the camera. Now, I've seen video podcasts before, like Andrew Santino, and I actually saw Andrew Santino, who's a comedian. I saw him live at the Royal Farms Arena, which is in Baltimore. But his podcast is set up with two chairs that are right next to each other, facing the camera but diagonal, which I'm thinking I can do. I could probably fit right here, put a guest right here, boom, boom, bam. I think that should work. But like I said, I'm not 100% positive yet on that. Definitely have to work on it since it's still an idea. But yeah, so we have this set up right here. My cactuses are still filled up with water. I think I overfed them. I overwatered them. But they look like they're doing pretty well. They look like they're hanging in there. Love these little guys. I had a really sweet comment or a direct message from somebody basically just saying that they love the podcast. Like they love the not afraid to speak your mind. That was an interesting response I got. Interesting because I feel like everybody should be able to speak their mind. I speak my mind. I have no issue with speaking my mind. I've always been that way. I don't do it out of ignorance, but I do it out of the principle that in order to really develop relationships with people, to develop communication with people, and to develop authentic conversation with another human, you have to have the ability to say what is on your mind, even if it is possibly offensive, even if it is possibly not the popular opinion. But at the same time, you also have to wield, like that word. I use the word wield, like you wield a sword. You also have to have that ability to backtrack and try and listen to other people when they critique you on what you say. That's a very, very important tactic. But yeah, that was just a very, very sweet comment I have received, or direct message through social media, Instagram particularly. I really do appreciate that, and I get a few of those a day, and every time I get one, it makes me a very happy boy. That sounds weird. Makes me a very happy person. I was gonna say very happy man, but I don't like that. Like that sounds like I'm promoting myself to that, even though I think I am a man. But I don't understand like the depth. Like saying man just sounds so strange. Like it sounds like an elevation of a human. Maybe it's because I'm just overthinking it, which is most of the things I do. Most of the things I do, I just overthink just about everything. I've been thinking about, I want to get to New York City. I want to go to New York City so much. And this is I'm sure a lot of people hate this, but this is because I don't live in New York. So I haven't really been there too often. But when I go to New York, I do the touristy stuff, and I haven't even completed it all. Um, but I do want to get to New York City, and it's almost my birthday, and at this time of the year, everything in my life just kind of accelerates. Uh, so right now you know, I'm recording this August 21st. My birthday is on September 9th, and then my birthday's followed up on my girlfriend's birthday in October. Also, my girlfriend's sister's birthday is on the same day my birthday is. And then on top of that, then November is like our anniversary. And then that's early November, well, November 1st. Um, and then later November is Thanksgiving and then Christmas. And it's almost Christmas time, which sounds ridiculous. Like, when people always get so upset around like this time of the year, people get upset when you are so excited for Christmas. Like, it's wrong to be excited about a beautiful holiday where people come together. Like, and I get it because like Halloween's in there, but let's face it, the only people who really celebrate Halloween are kids in elementary school and creeps, or people who just want to freaking party and drink and get blacked out drunk while they're wearing slutty vampire outfits and slutty cat outfits, and the guys are wearing like, I don't know. I don't know what they wear. I've never done it. I haven't dressed up since I was like 10. But I think you wear like construction helmets, and I think there's a lot of Trump last year. Maybe there's a lot of Trump. I don't think you do pirates anymore. But Halloween's a weird holiday. It's always been a strange holiday. It's been a strange holiday because the idea of it all, like, it has to be scary, and scariness, especially for like a scary environment, means creepy ass people come out. And to be a parent and just let your kids just run around collecting candy from people, that's a risky move, man. It's a risky move. I don't think the world's as violent as I'm making it out to be, but it's still kind of a strange holiday that it's around. I mean, so is all the holiday. I mean, all the holidays are weird. Anyways, what I was saying is that Christmas time is slowly approaching, which means New York City is going to get busier and busier. And I love going to New York, man. I love the just chaoticness of New York City. I've never lived there. I've only ever been there for 24 hours. I've never stayed a night there. I've always wanted to see a sunrise there. If there is one, I have the I have this idea that I would be on top of a building, but I don't think I will be. So I don't have no money to get up to the top of the building. So I feel like those are expensive, like, the higher you go up. But I do love going to the city. I would love to go to Chicago. Like, my experience traveling is very minimal. I was having a conversation with somebody at work a few days back, and we were talking about that exact topic, like traveling. And I think it's because I've never valued flying. I'm not flying. I've never valued traveling. It's never been one thing that I've been interested in. I've always been interested in, I guess, things um, that could further like my success, whether it be like business or whether it be seeing family. But I've never just been excited about just flying to like a different country just because I can. And I don't know if that's changing. I still don't think I'm like the most excited person around, but I do think it would be cool to like go to like a different place. Um, yeah. So I want to get out to Chicago. I want to get out to New York. I do want to get out to California. Like I said, I haven't been anywhere, but it's just that time of year again, man. It's school's back. Time to get stuck behind the school buses and time to get really busy. And it seems like once summer is ending, I don't know, for me, because I'm always so busy, I almost like regret that I didn't do much during the summer. I'm like, because I wanted to do this, I wanted to do that, and I ended up just not doing anything. But, it's not a biggie, and it's not a big deal. But it is fascinating because there's a lot I want to do, and And I had the money to do a lot of things, but I'm always just trying to put it into something to hopefully accumulate more money. I like to invest. Not like in the sense of like investing into companies, but investing into yourself and your own company. Um, but yeah, man, it's I want to get out there. I just want to spend like a good 3 days there. I don't think I could ever live there. Like I could, but I don't know if I financially am going to be capable of. But then again, I have no idea, man. I have no idea. So I was listening to this podcast with Joey Diaz, who's another comedian. He was actually just in DC at the Improv, I think, or not the Improv, Lincoln Theater, the Lincoln Theater, and he is a monster. Like he's hilarious. He talks about his childhood. Anyways, he's a very good comedian. And he had this violinist on, dude. And when I saw that, I clicked on it because I didn't recognize the name. So I clicked on it, I started watching it, and I didn't even, I figured out she was a violinist quickly. I was driving, so I couldn't change it, so I just was listening to it. I was forced to listen to it. And dude, it brought me back being in elementary school. I was never, I'm not a musical person. Like, I'm not good with sound in general. Like, I feel like I have decent hearing, but when it comes to musical instruments, I just don't understand notes. I'm not good at reading them. It's not that it's boring to me. It's just difficult to me. And if I don't care about it within the first, minute, I'm most likely I'm never going to do anything with it. So I had no time for it. But I remember being in music class in elementary school. And then I don't know if I was in it in middle school, but I remember they would try to get me to play the violin, and I was just so bad at it. Like I was so bad. I didn't know what to do. I mean, they were probably shitty violins, but I was like, no, I don't want to do a violin. So then that was in high school. I'll get to that, but I wanted to do it. I think I had to or something. I don't know. I don't know exactly the small details, but it doesn't matter. So I'm playing all the instruments. I'm like, I'm not good at the wood class. So like, I guess it's like woodwind, the woodwind groups of instruments. So I was really bad at those. And then I didn't want to do that. There was then the flute, which was like you blow into a flute, but you blow like down, and you kind of like bring your top lip over your bottom lip. I think something like that. I wasn't bad at it, but it was something that all the girls did, and you don't play the flute as a guy, at least at my age. And anyone who played the clarinet was like a very tough girl, like the girl who like could take you out physically at that age. So I didn't want to do that. Didn't want to do the violin. I just wasn't good at it. And I wanted to do the trumpet. I believe I wanted to do the trumpet, but my fingers, I just didn't have control of my fingers like that. And I was a taller kid, so just because of the lack of tall kids they needed a trombone player. So I played the trombone player. I was the trombone person in the orchestra, and we played at all the winter recitals and all the spring recitals, the Christmas recitals, this recital, that recital, and I was the trombone player. It was me and one other person, and if I could remember the name, I would say it, but I cannot remember the name. I cannot remember who it was. But I remember just being so good at it in my head, but I also remember being so bad at it in reality. And my sister, she played the clarinet. I played the trombone because I had long arms and I could reach as long notes when you put the little stick thing, the slider, all the way out. I got my own trombone. I don't know if I stole it from school, but I literally just got rid of it a few months back. And I remember you had to like blow into the mic, like you had sorry. Wasn't the mic, obviously. It was like a little brass thing, and you're supposed to clean it all the time. And I don't know if my parents bought me one for holiday or something, or if, like for my birthday, or if I like stole it from the school. But I remember we would come downstairs with my parents just watching the news, reading the newspaper. And Jen and I would, who's my sister, we would just go down there full head of steam and we would just start playing like a recital for them. It was so bad. I mean, I was so bad. I think she was decent. I was so bad that during my Christmas recital, I had everyone come out, like all my family members. Um, my cousin played the trumpet, I believe, and his parents were a lot more strict on him about it. My parents, they couldn't really say anything because they had no musical talent. But I was so bad that when I would go to this winter recital, my teacher had like there's a certain thing I had to use in practice. So I used the same thing in practice. Because that was the winter recital. So we had one before that. And the entire recital, I was so bad that I just, as it was going on, I wouldn't play. Like I wasn't playing my instrument. This is as we're live, in the gymnasium. All the parents are there, all the grandmas, grandpas, cousins, aunts, uncles, they're all there. And like they are playing, everyone's playing, and I'm back there just sliding my thing up and down my slider of the trombone, the neck of my trombone. I'm just stroking the neck of it, and it's just not making noise because I'm not blowing into it. And the teacher figured out about it. I think her name was Miss Fiddick, and I'm allowed to say names, right? I'm pretty sure I can say names. Actually, I can say whatever I want, right? Since it is my podcast, but I don't know if I should. But I did. I'm not going to stop. Because that's how we do it around here, right? That's how we do it around here. We just talk. Then we get in trouble. Then when we get in trouble, we don't care. Or if we do care, we talk about it, right? That's how we do it. Me and my little brain guy over here, my little cacti, and my coffee that I always drink for way too long because it's not designed for iced coffee. So I have to add more pressure with it, so I put it down my buck teeth, and it comes right out. But I was so bad that I just wouldn't play. And then she decided the next go around, and she figured out about it, and she was upset with me. She wasn't upset. I think she was upset because I just didn't practice either. So I could have potentially been decent, but I just wouldn't practice because it just, I don't know. I knew it wasn't going to be for me ever. So I was like, I'm not going to waste my time. And then the winter one came around and we all practiced, and I think we were playing like hot cross buns, and she like put this styrofoam outline of the top of my trombone, which is like a funnel, like a cone. It was a styrofoam cone. She just stuffed it down my hole of my trombone, and just far enough where the audience couldn't see, but it would make noise, but somehow it made the noise that I was trying to make, or like suppress noise really much, like, or a lot. So I was so bad that this is elementary school, when you have kids who are like spitting in the instruments, like drooling on the stage, falling out of their chair, farting while they're walking, and just a bunch of fucking barely like half humans. I mean, do you remember elementary school? I mean, we were barely humans. We functioned off of fruit roll-ups, Pop-Tarts, honey buns, and like some shitty drinks, like the Huggies, which we all used to always go to this beach, North Carolina in Axe Head. And it'd be my family, my cousin's family, one of my best friend's family, and then like 3 other random families that I still kind of talk to this day, but I don't really know too well. And we would all go there, and the parents would just get shit-faced. It was basically just a reason for them to get drunk. They would gamble the money. The kids would all play video games. But like 3 times that year, 3 times while we were down there, we would all, like all the kids would have their parents. We wouldn't tell the parents, like we would all take our parents aside and say, hey, can you buy us some of these drinks for all the kids? And the parents would buy enough for all the kids. But then we would split that up like 3 ways, like on the same day. So then we would have all the parents going out, buying all the Huggies. And the Huggies were like, it was basically just sugar and water with dye. So it was like different colors. Like purple one, you had an orange one, you had a blue one, you had a red one. I think there was even a yellow one. But dude, we would just get sugar drunk off of these drinks. And that's how it was in middle school, man. That's how it was in middle school. You had fruit roll-ups, Pop-Tarts, shitty peanut butter jelly sandwiches that your dad was never able to figure out that you need to put the peanut butter on each side of the bread, not peanut butter jelly and then bread, because then it would soak through. So yeah, fruit roll-ups, Pop-Tarts, shitty PB&J, Huggies, or you would get the Capri Suns, which basically you would just drink it all, blow it up, put the straw in there, pop it, and shoot and hit somebody in the back of the head. There's so many projectile missiles things that we used to use. At least I used to use, and the kids that I would talk to, we would take like Hornets and we would just like pull them back, screen harpoon, and just shoot them at the kids in the class. The classic straw where you would take a spitball and just drop it in the straw and just launch it at people, launch it at people, and just hit people. But dude, that was elementary school, man. And that was my music career, and it was so bad. So when I was listening to Joey Diaz have this violinist, Vienna-list. It was just like talking. It's like I was listening to like a different species of something, because her and I are probably very similar because we were both, Homo sapiens. But beyond that, dude, I mean, she sees the world in such a different, perspective than I do, because music just doesn't work for me, and that's interesting. That's actually an interesting topic, because people find things that they're good at, and then they run on those things. They take advantage of those things, and they make the best of those situations. Like, I knew from an early age that I had the structure, and I knew that I loved lifting weights. I knew not that I loved lifting weights, but I knew that I loved working out. And I was still overweight, but I knew I just liked it. I liked being outside, picking things up, running. I wasn't fast. I was fat and I was slow, but I just loved the idea of it. So I just ran. I ran with it, and now I'm sitting here and I'm a certified ACE personal trainer, and I'm hopefully gonna find a future in that. I knew that I was good at talking to people, or at least listening to people. I knew I had no issue with being in front of people. I remember doing a communications class in, I think, my freshman year in college. I was at a community college. And, dude, every time I got the opportunity to go up in front of the class and speak, I had no issue. I had no issue with that. And I had no issue with doing commentaries for YouTube on Call of Duty videos. I had no issue with speaking, because I had no issue with speaking my mind. But I think, though, the thing that I hold the best is that I don't have any issue speaking my mind, hurting people, because I know that after I'm allowed to explain what I said, the other person will understand, and I will apologize and say I misspoke. So I see the world in such a different view. Depending, and you can say that's genetics, epigenetics, behavior, whatever the environment, nature, nurture, whatever it is. And but someone like that, who's a professional violinist, and she was saying how she, like at 12 and 13, she was sneaking out of her house to go play in professional violin groups, and she wasn't old enough to get into the bars or the restaurant. She couldn't even be out at a certain time. It's like a curfew for kids that young in some parts of the country. That they would put her in a case, like like one of those big violin. It sounds so stupid. Not the big violins. Like a big cello. They would like take the cello out, walk in with it, and then like put her in the case. And she would go in and she would play the instrument. And she was saying how, like in high school she was playing at the college's professional groups, orchestras, and even though we can't, and this is a good lesson, even though nobody can really relate on everything, there's a respect level. There's like an understanding that I have developed my knowledge on lifting weights, and I know a decent amount. I don't know everything, obviously, and I never will. I also will always listen and have other people critique me, and I'm totally okay with it. I enjoy being critiqued. It makes me better. But there is something really interesting where you are really humanistic, and something that has to be done. A level of respect that no matter what you do, no matter what your craft is, it's wrong. And I think this is another characteristic of a sign of maturity. And, I did that episode where I talked about maturity, and I talked about how I don't like that age is so strongly correlated with maturity, because I don't think that age has pretty much anything to do with maturity. Now, there is debate where the longer you live, the more you see, the more you do. So age is just kind of a side effect of that. But there's not like you turn 18, you're an adult. Like that's not how it works. But you have to at least respect somebody else's craft. And I think that's really, I mean, I don't know, that to me, that's so damn important. And I was taught that from an early age. Like, you don't have to like what someone does. You don't even have to, care about what they do, but you have to respect what they do, because they put in an effort, just like you may put the effort in whatever the hell you do, whatever art you do, whether it be writing, reading. And I didn't learn this. I was taught this, but I didn't really comprehend it for such a long time, and it made me struggle with so many things. And I think there's something very natural about that. Like, as a kid, you're selfish, a kid's brain is selfish. And that's, understandable. I got to get what's mine because I don't know anything else. But once you can recognize that other people have talents, it's a must. You 100% have to at least respect the effort that they put in, the work that they put in, because, take out the goal, take out what they're trying to accomplish, take that out, throw that away. But the level of, like, the hours, like the 10,000 hours to become a master at your craft, I think by Malcolm Gladwell. I forget what book that's in, but it's so true. Maybe The Outliers. I don't know which one. But it's so true. You have to have that genuine respect for somebody who does something that you don't do. And that's why I continue to watch the podcast, and I watched it all the way to the end. I was also super intrigued about how Joey Diaz was so into it. And I shouldn't have been shocked, because he's an artist. He's a comedian, which is art. And I'm not a comedian. I'm not an artist, I think, up to a point. Some ways I think bodybuilding I'm not a bodybuilder, but like lifting weights can be an art. You got to like learn your body, and you got to learn what you can and can't do, which I think is very similar in many aspects of being a violinist or just being an artist. But I enjoyed watching him being so intrigued with her passion, and she was just so comfortable with her passion. We all remember those people when we were younger, where you would look at them and you wanted to so badly make fun of them, and because you didn't understand, you had like a fear that maybe they were happy doing something you just don't understand. But it's really hard to make fun of somebody when they are obsessed about it, but in a positive way, and to make the most out of it. And that's what I got from when I was watching this podcast, dude. It was just so unique to watch and listen to and sit there and enjoy. And that's what I love about podcasts. I love that you can take anybody, and this is why I'm so excited to continue to have guests on. By the way, I've said it again. I'll say it one more time. But dude, my mom's podcast did so well. You guys loved her. You guys love listening to her, and it's because she's a very smart woman. She's a very intelligent woman. She's, the characteristics I got from her, it's probably a lot, but the ones that I do know have helped me so much. Like the ability to just communicate with people, the ability to have some level of social recognition, for the ability to at least give everybody a time of day to listen to. Those are skills that you can't be taught, and those are skills that you won't be taught Those are skills that you only learn from other people, that you don't learn from school, and that's why I think her episode went over so well, and I can't wait to have her back on. I was kind of upset because the one thing I did want to talk about, I didn't really talk about. Like, I really wanted to talk about her grandfather, or her dad, who's my grandpa. I didn't really speak on that, which kind of bummed me out a little bit, but I'll get her on again, and then I'm gonna have my dad on, and he's gonna be a really interesting one. His relationship and I it's a good relationship. It's unique. I wouldn't say it's rocky, but it's confusing at times. But just with anybody, there's something about just listening to someone speak and letting them have the platform to just talk, for hours, for a long time, and this is why we could have gone on a lot longer, but I couldn't. I had something to do, but I think once you see the guest on this podcast, you're gonna see that the episodes are gonna be a lot longer, 2 hours, maybe three. But you're gonna see the reason why I did this. The reason why I started this podcast. You're gonna see the true reason why, and it's because I think just conversating with people is so easy, especially when you like them, especially when you care about them. It makes podcasting so much more fun, so much easier. But I do like the setup for podcasts because it allows people to expand on their thoughts instead of just saying things that might be rash, but it allows people to explain the position on anything. And you kind of see that with my podcast. I don't have any specific things I'd like I don't really like talking politics too much. I don't really like talking anything that's controversial, but I do speak on some things, and I speak on things that I am currently obsessed with, or currently experiencing. I talk a lot about emotions. I did kind of have that idea going into this. I wanted to make everybody feel like what they have to say is impactful, because I don't think you're given that. I don't think you're taught that, and it's weird because even through the school system, they want you, they teach you a certain way to then make you impactful. But I have this thing that the school system dumbs really smart people down, and it takes lack of free thinkers, and it makes them less of a free thinker. But like the people who, and free thinking, I use that term very loosely. I don't believe in free thinking. Let me clarify. What I mean by that is I don't think that when people say the freedom to think what they want, I don't know how much control you have over that, depending on your childhood, depending on the genetics you have, and the things that you've seen against your will or with your will. It obscures your thought on it. Like, once I see something, there's a billion different perspectives on it. I see this plant right here, and I see just a beautiful plant, something that relies on me to grow, something that is living, and I don't understand how it's, or what the conscious of the plant is, but some people might see it and have an extreme fear of it because, when they were younger, they fell down and they scratched themselves, and really bad, and it messed up their face, and they blame cactuses now for having a scar on their face, and that's why they can never date people, and never have a kid as a side effect. So it's like your childhood and the way you're brought up and the different things that you experience, the different things that you hear can truly make you biased to so many things. So it's like you act upon your previous experiences. And I think if freedom to think and freedom to do, I don't know, it's a hard one to break down, but I really think that by definition, you should be able to do whatever it is, when you should be able to think whatever you think without having any biased opinions. But that in itself is where the argument goes south, because you will always have biased opinions, no matter what it is. Like being racist, that's not a gene that's born into you. Being sexist, it's not a gene that's born into you. But the things that you see, do, experience, hear, that all determines your outcome from your childhood. My girlfriend, she works at this place. She works at a clinic that takes care of autistic kids, and she tells me some of these kids that go there, you can just see in their eyes that what they experience outside of the clinic is intense, dude. It's rough, and people have rough experiences all the time. And is it by their choice? Hell no, man. There's nobody. I didn't have a choice of the parents I was born. Nobody has a choice of the family that they grow up in, from the parents that have sex and have a kid. It's not anybody's choice, and that can play a huge impact on you. Now, what do you do after that? Now it's up to you. You can make all the choices you want. I have friends who made choices that, they probably regret. I think they will regret, or they currently are regretting. And, that is a choice that they made, and I think that is something that you have to really stand up and, I guess, respect. But you also have to understand how powerful it is that every day you do have the choice to do something. You have the choice to turn your alarm clock off. You have the choice to eat a shitty cereal breakfast and spike your blood pressure, then follow it with coffee, and then be tired by 9 a.m. because you spiked your blood pressure, and then you're eating like shit because you spike it again because you feel like you're falling apart, Or you can eat just a nice. I don't eat breakfast. I always intermediate fast for like 16 hours. You can do that route, or you can eat the shitty meal, And so you're given choices, and depending on how you confront those choices, depending on how you weigh out the options, the good and the bad, the pros and the cons, and then that's even a distinction right there that has to be made very, very intelligently, because pros and cons are completely different to everybody, completely different. And I forget where I was going with that, but I basically, you have to respect that people who master a certain craft. You have to understand that in order for them to get to that craft, they work their fucking asses off. I mean, if you watch someone like LeBron James, play basketball, you almost forget that, dude, this dude is a natural talent. Yes, genetically, absolutely. But, dude, he spent more time in the gym than anybody else. That's why he's the best at basketball. But Kobe Bryant, I love listening to Kobe Bryant because just the amount of time that he played and, like, the way he played. Will Smith, dude, I love listening to Will Smith. That Pursuit of Happiness is one of the greatest movies, if not the greatest movie I've ever seen. And I'm not a movie guy, but I'll watch that movie over and over and over because it's just, he like made a movie about truth. That's what it's about, man. It's about just showing up. There's something so valuable in just showing up. Because most people just don't show up. Most people just don't show up. Most people will turn around when things get a little tough. Most people will stop doing a podcast after episode 5 because they don't have 1,000 listeners. Most people will stop going to school because they don't want to. Me. Most people will give up in a relationship because they can't make the other person see eye to eye to them, even though maybe it's because they have to see eye to eye. Most people will quit. Most people will quit so many times that they become a quitter, that they identify as a quitter, that they identify the world's out to get them. That the whole world's out and looking to get them. They have to be a victim. You always have to be a victim, because if you're not a victim, then it's maybe it's your fault. People can't live with that. That's a serious issue. People cannot deal with the fact that sometimes it was their choice. They made the wrong fucking choice. Maybe they made a mistake. That's a direct chink in your armor, dude. That's a direct shot at your ego. People don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. But, that is why you need to hear it. That is why you need to just keep showing up every day, putting in the work, putting in the hours. You won't blow up. You won't do, it won't happen for you. Even if you do it for years, you may not still work out. But if you keep doing it, You can believe in the law of attraction all you want, or you don't have to. Something will happen. A side effect of something that you do will happen. I love playing video games. So I sat down, I figured out how to play video games and let other people see how much I love playing video games because I thought I was good. And when I was doing it, I was not thinking anything about public speaking, dude. I was thinking about nothing about public speaking. I didn't think that going on YouTube, because I was young. I didn't even fathom that there was actually another set of ears, another human, maybe a family. I get screenshots of families taking pictures of their kids in front of their Apple TV listening to my podcast or my vlogs. And I didn't know that the hundreds of commentaries I did would eventually turn out to be something that, would give me a skill later in life. The skill of public speaking, the skill of confidence, the skill of saying things without being afraid to say them. That's an important skill. And I didn't understand that at 15 when I decided I wanted to work 15 to 9 months because I was like, fuck, dude, I'm now legal and I can work. Just need a working permit. I didn't realize that getting a job at a restaurant would teach me how to work, dude. I had no idea, bro. I had no idea that working with so many Hispanics in that kitchen would teach me what hard work is, how to clean dishes, and how much that cleaning a dish, cleaning a pot, cleaning pots and pans could translate into my life. I didn't understand that until I sat down with a guy named Mario, and he cleaned these dishes like he was running a Fortune 500 company. And the whole time I was wondering, why are you doing this? What are you doing for? Like, why? And I was just a stupid white kid trying to figure it out. And he told me, I remember he sat down, and I would invite him on, but I think he's a little, I don't know. I don't think he would do it. But that's why I need it in like a public area, or like not my bedroom. He told me about his journey coming to America. And oh my God, dude, it put everything in perspective. So I had no idea. When I was 15 and 9 months, applied for a job, got hired that day, came in, worked as a busser, got bullied by everybody in the kitchen, got bullied by the staff, just to know that 4 years later I was going to be managing that place. I had no idea what I was learning. Because you never do. You never do. He told me about his childhood and the things that he came from and how he got here to this country. He told me about the first thing he did when he got to this country was he had to find a job. He had no money. He had no income. He had family, but once you leave, you don't know what happens to your family. So he had no way of communication because he didn't have a cell phone. It was early, so it was easy to get over here. Relatively easy. I mean, not like easy. I mean, he told me how he got over here. Not easy at all. But he got a job at a construction place. Oh, sorry about the sweaty armpits. Just got back from the gym. And he was like, dude, the first words I learned were hammer and nail and screwdriver and ruler and inches and feet and plywood. Just screwdriver, just like things that only related to his job. And then it just started putting things in perspective. The amount of hours that he was working. I didn't know that at 15 and 9 months, being a stupid, ignorant busser, that I was going to learn about the world of where I worked. A lot of drugs were in that area. A lot of alcohol. I didn't know what an alcoholic was until I started working. I didn't know what a drug addict was until I started taking care of them and serving them. And I didn't understand what hard work was until I saw a 45-year-old dishwasher work 7 days a week, cleaning dishes every damn day. That's not an easy job, dude. I mean, relative to some jobs, it's probably easier, but it's not an easy job. And I had to do the dishes too. And I learned how to work, but I didn't know that when I was getting that job. I didn't know that once I became a server that I was uncomfortable at talking to people. Like one-on-one. I had no idea. I didn't know I could make small conversation. I could speak in front of people, learn that from doing commentaries. But I didn't know that was going to be something I learned. And the moral of the story is you just never know. So you have to just take advantages of the situation. And you have to be all in at the moment. You can't not be worried about the future. The past is gone. Those are distant memories. Those aren't real. The things that you feel are real, but the memories are there, but the experiences are real, but like the physical moment is gone. And I started just serving, and I didn't I remember like my first day I had just a nightmare of a table. It was a cool table. It was like 15 people, but the lady got a cheeseburger, and it was like the wrong kind of cheese. The kitchen messed up on that one. She wanted it medium well. I actually wrote down medium rare, so it came out medium rare, and she lost her mind. And I remember just having this lady curse at me, yell at me, cuss me out. I just started crying, dude. I was young. I was like 18. I was 17, actually. I was 17, and I just started crying because I've never been yelled at like that before. And it taught me two valuable lessons. It taught me a lesson that some people just are aggressive and they yell, you know? And there's nothing you can do about that. And it's not because of you. Um, that was lesson one, that maybe she just had a really bad day. Maybe she just had a really bad day. But the other lesson was double check what you write down, bro. Double check everything. Like, she could have been really pissed off about the cheese, but it was probably the meat, I'm sure she could have ate the cheese, but it's probably the meat. Double check what you write down. I understand making mistakes, but I make mistakes, but I have to be able to. I gotta check my work. I gotta check what I do before I release it. I gotta check on myself before I just put it out there. I don't want anything stupid. And I remember having to give people bills. I just felt so bad, like giving them their check, because I didn't want to give them their check. Because I didn't want to make them pay for it. And then that was a lesson I had to learn. You pay for what you get. They got a product that they enjoyed. And there is a respect level. And I learned that you pay for what you get, and that's a sign of respect. And if you don't do that, it's actually disrespectful. Just like if you go to like some families, like I have this Asian friend, and what they make for you, you eat. Like, especially when the grandma makes it, you don't say no. You just eat it. It's a sign of respect. And I didn't know that, 2-3 years later, I was going to be running a clothing company where I make people buy things because it's a product. And I didn't understand any of that. And the point is that you just got to take opportunities. You just got to run with them, dude. You can't just sit back and, say maybe tomorrow, maybe this time, maybe this day. The world doesn't work like that. The world is your oyster, but it's only your oyster if you stay in and you keep it moving. Otherwise, the world is getting ready to eat you up at any moment, dude. Any moment. And death is upon us all. And the world can be an evil place. And the world is an evil place for most of the people that live here. You just never know. The path you're on is probably not going to be the path you're going to be on in 10 years. And that's just the truth. But the path that you're on, the feeling you have, you can take that feeling again in the future. But you can't expect that what you're doing right now, the things that you're doing right now, the people you have in your life right now, the path that you think you're paving is going to be in the future. But what you can do, or you can expect that, LeBron James did, Kobe Bryant did. But what they also did and what they could have easily done, people that are that successful, they don't, like LeBron James would have been a successful businessman, because the lessons that he taught himself while working out 2 hours a day, shooting until 11 p.m., waking up probably at 6 before school to go shoot. I know Kobe Bryant did that. I'm just assuming LeBron James did that. Those lessons apply to everything in life. Everything will be replicated. Her ability to play the violin so well for so long, for so many hours, not even like worried about the future. I worked out. I wasn't worried about the future. I worked out because I had aggression. I was confused. And this is the one way that I could validate myself, because I could see growth. I knew it was working. And this sounds, I probably shouldn't say this, but I will. A lot of people don't like Like when you're helping someone lose weight, that they just don't think the scale matters. And I understand that. I understand. But for me, dude, I had to see a scale, and it became unhealthy. And now I'm trying to fix that. But I had to see a scale because it proved to me that what I was doing was working, Just things like that I have to be validated on what I'm doing. But no, LeBron James would have been a professional at anything he chose. He just had that work ethic. You can develop that work ethic. I'm so tired of people saying you either have it or don't. Like, fuck you. What are you talking about? You're being a bitch, dude. You're complaining. You have that work ethic. Everybody has that work ethic. I mean, we all know people that are just so down on themselves. They're down about life. They're always looking for a handout. They're always looking for somebody to tell them that. They always looking for somebody to reinforce why they're allowed to just do nothing. Screw that, dude. Screw that. Show up, put in the work, put in a little bit of hours, have gained some respect for yourself, dude. Gain some respect. I think about this all the time, and this is a weird thing that I think about, but this is what I do. I think about the hell I put my mom through when she had me as a child. I think about that hell that I probably put them through just growing up, dude. I was a 10-pound motherfucking baby, bro. I was a little bomb dropping out of somebody. Dude, I was a fucking massive kid with a stupid brain. And I think about that and I feel bad. And I use that. I go to these dark places in my head when I'm working out hard, dude. When you're working out hard, you have to. Sometimes you just need to shut up and just do the work. And guess what, dude? If you're hoping that it's going to pay off in a year, 5 years, 10 years, just stop, man. Just get out of it. Don't do it. Skip out on it. Just be a lazy fuck, Because it won't. It doesn't work that way. It never will work that way. But something will work out. Something will work out. Ask anybody who isn't, you wouldn't because they're not there. But if you ask any successful person, ask them about the times they wanted to quit, dude. It's hundreds and hundreds of times. I mean, even with this podcast, dude, I have never wanted to quit, but I have had moments. Like in my last episode, I had to cut out a part because my fucking deer, I don't know, you might have saw it. The deer head fell and it hit my laptop, and I was just pissed, dude. It's very minor, but it's the same thing. Like when you hurt yourself working out, or when you tear an ACL, when you get down on yourself, you just gotta put back on the boots and get the horse going again. You just gotta get going again, and momentum will build up. I always talk about momentum. That's because I am a big believer in momentum, and I think you can create your own momentum. You can. You can't keep it. It won't just keep going for you. Once you get the ball to the top of the hill, you got to keep pushing it, or it's going to eventually stop. Or you got to get it back up on top of the hill. You got to find something that you enjoy and just keep crushing it every single day. Like, who knew that, if you were just a nerd back in 2010 and you just loved recording things and you just loved making videos of whatever, that you would be a YouTube star, that you'd be the next PewDiePie, Say what you want about the rapper Takesha 6ix9ine, or he's probably still in jail, but dude, he was the epitome of an intelligent brand, with the crazy hair, with the tattoos on your face, probably not a good person, some weird things that might have happened to him, but that's not the point. The point is that if you find something, you just got to keep hammering away. Just keep on hammering at the nail. Iron sharpens iron. Bring people around that are good people. Don't bring the people around that are agreeing with you. You don't want those people. You can have a few. I mean, I agree with most of the time. You don't want everyone to tell you that you're doing a good job, but, let's be honest here. You do want, sometimes you just want to be praised. Maybe that's a flaw in my character, but sometimes I do. Sometimes I want to be told, maybe not praised, but I know I do reach for validation sometimes, because it is a lonely path, dude. Starting a clothing company or starting anything, just doing anything that is outside of the norm. Like, I was thinking about this yesterday. I don't know anybody my age who does a podcast. I don't know anybody my age who is fully paying for school. I don't know anybody my age who has been working full time since 15. I don't know anybody my age who started a clothing company. You know, but then again, they don't know anybody their age that blah blah blah, fill in the blanks. But the point that I'm saying is, you have to just be totally comfortable being uncomfortable. And you got to be okay with taking your losses. And you got to be okay with not having money. You got to be okay with disagreeing with people up to the point where they leave, dude. You got to be okay with that. But you also got to be okay with admitting when you're wrong and making changes and pivoting. You got to find these points and you got to pivot. You got to put down your foot and turn around, figure it out. You know, if you're so good at basketball and then you stop growing at 5'9", don't keep trying. You're not going to get in the NBA. I'm sorry, you're just not. You're 5'9". You're 5'9". You're not. One person, maybe two. I guess there's a chance, like mathematically, but let's be smart here. Let's also be smart, right? Yeah, like, this isn't a motivational rant, but I just love listening to Joey Diaz talk to somebody because I could relate to her. I'm not a professional at anything. I'm not, but I do know that I would challenge a lot of people, and I would ask a lot. I would put money on it that I work harder and I do more things. I work harder than most people, and I think you do too, and I know you do, but I think you're afraid of what you're capable of. Because then there's separation. You know, it's scary if you start doing something and you succeed a little. Because then everybody starts thinking, oh, you're too good for them. And you let other people's insecurities paint your future. You know, and you can't do that. You know, you gotta still do what you want to do. And you're gonna separate yourself. It's scary when you're doing so much and things start going well for you and then people start treating you different, dude. But that's just the reality of life, man. You know, the people that you roll with now are not going to be the same people there in the future. You know, there's nothing against them. There's nothing against anybody. I'm playing with my finger skin, by the way, if you're watching on video. But, yeah, dude, just keep doing it, man. Just keep doing your thing and be proud of your thing, man. Don't be like getting down to someone else's level. Like, my girlfriend, she used to always, like, say things like, oh, I just read, or oh, I play Sims. Like, play the fuck out of Sims, dude. Have fun with it, man. Be great at it. You know, if you're the best Sims player in the world, that's pretty awesome. If you ask me, I don't know. Some people might think that's stupid. Probably the same people who think the only jobs you can do is doctors and lawyers. Anything else is stupid. Like, fuck out of here with that shit. Like, you stupid bitch. Like, I hate that. I completely disagree. I don't like the hierarchy that we place certain jobs at. You know, I would never. I've already told myself, and I think a lot of people say, but I know for me, I just wouldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I would lose my goddamn mind. I've talked to a lot of people about this. Like, I asked my girlfriend, she just started laughing at me. Like, if you put me in a cubicle, dude, I would lose my mind. I know I just won't do that. I know I won't be good at it. But I could be good at it, but I don't think I would be happy. That's where I'm at right now in my life. I'm happy with what I'm doing, and that's another thing, I'm only doing things I love. I'm only doing things I love, and I'm not going to run them down until I don't love them anymore. I'm only working out because I love it. I'm not working out anymore for any other reason. I stopped the clothing company. I didn't stop, but I put it on hold because I wanted to do this because I knew I would love podcasting. I'm doing podcasts because I love it. I'm going to school because I love learning. I love enriching my brain. I'm reading these very advanced psychology books because I love learning about the brain. You know, I love dating Taylor because I love being with her. You know, I love personal training. I love helping people achieve their goals because it makes me feel good about myself. It gives me a purpose. It makes me feel human. And I'm only doing it because I love it. For no other reason, man. Don't do anything else for anybody else unless you love it. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you got to give for... Sometimes it's give and take in relationships with kids, but that's my message. If you guys take anything out of this long podcast, about an hour long, do what you love, only do what you love, and do it when you want it. Take care of others. Take care of yourself, importantly. Take care of the people around you. They've all been there for you. They've all helped you. Give back to your parents. Even if you don't agree with them, even if you don't talk to them, find common ground, or just drop it. Be the bigger person. Hug people more, hold the door for people, talk to people, let people know that you're there, that you care about them, that you love them. Even if you don't love them, let them know that your hand's ready to hold them whenever they are ready to be held. Remind people that every day, because it could be the last day. I'm going to go ahead and end this episode right here, guys. It's about an hour-long podcast. This is episode 16. I got to go ahead and edit up episode 15. Yeah, guys, with that being said, thank you so much for the continued support. I'm telling you, you guys are the best. I'm not going to use the word fans, but you guys are the best supporters of the podcast, and I can't do any of this without you. And I wouldn't do any of it without you because there would be no point to just sit in a room and talk to yourself so you can go back and watch it. That would be narcissistic, and we don't do that. But yeah, guys, thank you for the continued support. Guests will be on here again shortly. We'll be having my buddy on this weekend, followed by my dad hopefully next week. Maybe like a joint podcast with my parents. But I'm going to go ahead and end this podcast right here, guys. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, comment, share with families and friends. Don't forget to like. Do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to comment. Visit us on www.silencefitness.com to achieve and get any of my clothing apparel. Use discount code 10 TEN at checkout to get 10% off your entire order. I will be doing like giveaways. I will be donating some of that to like a certain foundation of, I think, suicide prevention awareness. I did it last year, but I will be doing it again in the near future. If you guys are watching this on a major, and I'm not doing that right now, so don't like buy because you think I'm giving money. I'm not giving money to any organization right now, but in the near future I will be. Probably around the holidays, because holidays are not easy for people. People get very depressed around the holidays. They, all the thoughts they thought they could tuck away are starting to come back about people they love and care about, which is completely normal. During the holidays, especially during the holidays, and I know we're not close to them, but it's when the weather changes, people get darker and they get scared. Reach out to everybody you know around the holidays, all year, but especially around the holidays. But yeah, if you guys watch this on YouTube, please like, comment, subscribe, share. Check out my Instagram, Mike R Labs, Facebook, Twitter. Facebook is Michael Labs. Twitter is Mike R Lobes, LOBS. Long story behind that. All major platforms for podcasting, audio, Spotify, Apple Music, and SoundCloud. Guys, with that being said, this was episode 16. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Enjoy the rest of your day.